Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another video. And on this video, it's going to be a first of a new series called Quick Fire Topics. Sure, the name may change, but I just wanted to just run through kind of like a few different topics, all related to the world of movies, TV, and collecting physical media as well, and just sort of run through them a multiple amount of topics in one show and just go for it. Do some quick fire topics. Let's do something fun. So let's go for it. I've got 6 different types of topics, and I'm just gonna go into them, deep dive, do a short deep dive into each one. So let's get into it. So the first topic I want to get into is Blockbuster. Was Blockbuster the best video rental or video shop if you're here in the UK? Personally, I'll be honest. We had a Blockbuster in my town, my hometown, but I always thought it was super. It was over. I mean, as a kid, it was overpriced for us as a family. We used to go like a local video shop right by where my school was when I was a kid, and we used to always go to this video shop, and it was like a family-run video shop. And it was always like half the price. I mean, I don't know exactly the price of what Blockbuster was at the time. I'm thinking maybe it was like £3 a movie or something like that. Maybe it wasn't that expensive. But I remember in the one we used to go as a family, we used to go this local one, and it was like something like £1 or something to rent a movie out of to rent a video. And in comparison to Blockbuster, it was a lot cheaper, and it was nearer as well. So I don't really have super fond memories. I think we probably went once or twice, maybe to when there was like an offer or something, or maybe with like other people. But I remember going around the Blockbusters as a kid, but we were never like a family that rented from Blockbuster, and so I don't really have any sort of like fond memories. So was it the best? I'm sure it's Blockbuster is definitely the most well-known rental video shop, I'd say, worldwide. But I think a lot of people would probably have a similar answer to myself, where they probably went to more of like a local family-run shop, which was probably a lot more cheaper and just better value for money in general. So yeah, that's my opinions on Blockbuster. Will Batgirl ever get released? So we've had this recently where HBO Warner Brothers has had this big merger with Discovery, and now Discovery, I think it's called Discovery Warner Discovery, I don't know, something like that. They're kind of just like slashing all projects that are not worthy of being something that they can make a load of money. And one of the main ones, the big ones that came out recently that was on the chopping block, was the Batgirl movie. So this film was like pretty much all filmed. It was going to feature Michael Keaton's Batman as well. He was going to feature in this, even though he's going to feature in the Flash movie as well. Fresh new movie, and this is, I mean, I don't know what the budget is, but I imagine it was probably a £100 million budget. I bet it was around that mark anyway. So they deemed it not good enough really to be released. So somewhere out there is a copy, there is like an unfinished Batgirl project, nearly finished. Will it ever see the light of day? I think it's going to be surely like a Snyder Cut scenario, where over the years you're going to get more people wanting to see that film, and maybe it isn't going to be an amazing film. I remember this like with the movie a few years back, The Interview as well. Got banned in certain countries, and then there was a big palaver, and then eventually it got released because people wanted to see it. And I think it's going to be similar with Batgirl, where people will just want to see it because it's like when you say to someone you can't do something, and then you want to do something. And I think it's going to be that same scenario where people really, because they're being told they can't watch Batgirl now because it's not getting released, I think there's going to be a lot of fanfare over the years, and it could be years. It could be years to come. It may not be in like 6 months' time. This could be years down the line where we get people petitioning, they want to see Batgirl be released, and I can see it eventually getting a release on HBO Max. And I think this could actually create more buzz for the movie. They could release it now in like 6 months' time and do just a spontaneous release. And I think it would get more buzz than it initially would have. So it could kind of work in their favour. I sometimes think whether this is like a strategy of their own. I don't think it is necessarily. I think it is something to do with like a tax write-off. But I think eventually we could see this Batgirl movie be released in some way, shape, or form. I think it would be a HBO Max release. I don't think it would go to cinemas, but I think it will happen eventually one day. So, Zack Snyder has got a new movie series coming out on Netflix soon. It's called Rebel Moon, and it's kind of being teased as this big space opera. It's like Zack Snyder's version of Star Wars. And me, I'll be honest with you, I'm a big Zack Snyder fan. I like his work, I like his tone in his movies, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. So the idea of like a Zack Snyder version of Star Wars really excites me. I believe this movie has already had the sequel green lit as well, so we're going to get sequels as well. So there's at least 2 movies here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think in general I'm always into big space movies anyway, big like space adventure movies, and the fact that Zack Snyder's going to be behind the camera on this one really does look intriguing to me. I don't know much details about this, but when they say that Zack Snyder's version of Star Wars, I'm like, that whets my appetite. It really does. So I'm looking forward to it. Rebel Moon, and that's coming to Netflix as well. It's going to be a Netflix exclusive. I imagine it'll probably get like a limited cinema release as well. But I've enjoyed some of his projects he's done. He done the zombie movie a few years back. I can't remember what it's called now. The one with Dave Bautista in. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a pretty decent movie. And that seems like that's building its own little universe. So he's kind of like doing his own. That was like his, it's like his own Dawn of the Dead universe, even though he did the Dawn of the Dead remake, and it's not, now he's making his own Star Wars universe. I feel like it's like maybe he was getting used by DC for so long, and he just felt like he was just fed up with DC, and he's like, I'm just going to make my own franchises, I'm going to start my own universes, and this is what he's doing, and I think it's great. I think Zack Snyder's a great filmmaker, and I'm super excited to see what Rebel Moon has to offer. So now let's move to Disney Plus and let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show. Season 1 came out this year, 2022. I really enjoyed it, but the question is, quick topic here, will and should Obi-Wan Kenobi have a season 2? It's kind of right. Look, I said I'm a big Star Wars fan, and personally, I really enjoy that show, and part of me really would like to see a season 2, but Star Wars is kind of like super awkward in the fact now, because there's that many properties and different storylines, and you've got to kind of keep it all canon. It's like, how can they make an intriguing story? Because I imagine, can they really feature Darth Vader again in a second season? Who knows? I don't know. I think it would be really good to see another show, but maybe I think if they do season 2, it has to feature a bunch of villains and characters that have never been related to any of the movies before, never featured in a movie. If they do it that way, and then have that kind of like Qui-Gon Jinn maybe in there as well, that would be quite cool. I would like to see it, but it's whether it can deliver the fantastic show the first season gave us. If they can give us what the first season gave us, because I thought it was a top show. I absolutely love that show. I'm a Star Wars fanboy. Anything Star Wars, I'm all in for. But I really think it was a good season, that one. Even compare it to other stuff like the Boba Fett show. That started off well, but it kind of went mixed in the middle of it. It kind of just felt like a different show. The Obi-Wan show felt concrete. It felt all solid. It was start to finish. It had a story there, and I like that. And if they can do that in a season 2, and just like I said, keep it still intriguing and entertaining with new characters that wouldn't affect the Star Wars canon, I'd be down for it. So I do hope they do it. I'd love to see it. I think they will. I just think a lot of these shows now, I know they say they're like limited series, even with the Marvel stuff, I think a lot of it is testing the water. I think they're testing the water, and they're kind of like saying, well, let's see if these Star Wars fans really like this property enough, and if they do, and a lot of people watch it, then we'll talk about a season 2. So yeah, I hope it does happen. Should it have a season 2? I think it certainly should, because I thought season 1 was epic. The next quick topic I want to discuss is which movies should never be remade. I will tell you, top of my head, just talking about Star Wars then, the original trilogy of Star Wars, that should not be remade. I mean, all the touching up George Lucas has done over the years is kind of like a bit like, I don't want to see any more touching up. He's done enough on it already. But yeah, I just think if they ever, like in say like 50 years time, they decide to remake the OG Star Wars, I'd just be like, no way, no way. Back to the Future is another one. I think Back to the Future is just you don't touch that. It's a work of art. Forrest Gump, again, that's another great movie that I think is something that should never be remade. I was going to say Indiana Jones, but I think that could be potentially recast in the future, and I don't think I'd be totally against that, even though I do like their movies. I think that's something that could maybe work with someone else potentially if they get the right person. It has to be the right person. But yeah, Star Wars, Back to the Future, they are two of my favourite ones that should never ever be remade. So the final quick topic I'm going to deep dive into now is, will streaming ever lose its appeal? And I'm talking mainly about movie streaming services. Will they ever lose their appeal to audiences? I think the mainstream audience is always going to enjoy streaming just for the convenience. I'll say it from my own personal take from watching streaming services. I think they are really good, and like, this is coming from a guy who has physical movies. I like physical movies. I'm a big fan of physical movies and collecting movies. But I think the convenience of streaming is super good, and I do use streaming as well, and I'm not going to lie. Will it ever lose its appeal? I think the appeal would be lost for me personally if, they have hiked the prices a lot this year on streaming services, and that's been all done. I understand why that, the cost of everything in the world is going up in general. I think it would, like the likes of say like Disney Plus would lose its appeal for me if they didn't have the Marvel and the Star Wars shows. So I think it's all to do with content. I think if they lost that sort of content, which they will not, that would lose the appeal to a service like that for me. I think Netflix has got a ton of great shows going for it, but if Netflix lost for me, like your Seinfeld, your Breaking Bad, your Better Call Saul, them sort of things, them sort of shows, that would lose the appeal to me. It's always going to be down to the content, and if the content is not exciting there for me, I think like at Amazon Prime, there's only a few shows on that service that really appeal to me. I would say like The Boys is probably the standout, and I can't really off the top of my head think of any on Prime that really stand out to me. And maybe I'm not thinking of every show now, and maybe there is shows that I'm forgetting, but I think there's certain streaming services, and I think because there is so many now, you're getting like Paramount Plus coming over here in the UK, it kind of loses its appeal because there's more, other shows go to other streaming services, and then it becomes less and less. I think that's where the appeal of streaming will be lost, but I think there's always going to be that appeal to them because they are just so convenient. And even if you choose just one service a month, there's always going to be something there to watch, I think. So I don't think they'll ever lose their appeal. I think it just always comes down to content, though, for me personally. And that is it. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and check out the rest of the movie-related content on the channel. And it'd be great to know your thoughts on today's quick topics as well. Let me know all your answers and your thoughts to these questions. And also, for future videos like this, or if people do enjoy these videos, I'd like to get some people from the Movie Cheer Town community to throw questions in there, and I'd like to answer topics from the Movie Cheer Town community. So if you have a question related to movies, TV, movie collecting that you'd like to have answered on another episode, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll check all the comments and I will put it towards future videos like this, quick topics videos, and I will hopefully answer them to the best of my ability. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video today. I've really enjoyed just doing something different than the usual type of video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.